Scissorboy.com, Adriana here. Stay right there. Got Sean Hanna coming up right now. He is a legend within the hairdressing industry, and you're going to see exactly why. Hello and welcome. It's Scissorboy.com again, and my name's Adriana, of course. You know me by now. Now, this gentleman standing to my left is the lovely Sean Hanna. Hello, Sean.
Hi, Adriana. How are you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
Yeah, very good, thank you.
Thank you for joining us here at Scissorboy.com.
No,
I think we're going to have some fun.
I think we are, actually.
And you're going to show us something funky, as always.
Well, actually, I'm really excited about today's haircut because probably at Sean Hanna, one of the things that we're really into is doing our own signature haircuts.
Right.
And this particular haircut is one of my favourites. It's called the Connexion haircut.
All right, okay.
This is our model, Felicity. And just a nice smile from Felicity.
Hello, Felicity.
And basically, what we've got here is a very, very typical layered haircut.
Yep.
Okay, so this is like, you know, a lot of the clients that we would come in, they've got like long hair, they've got layers for movement. And what you'll notice with most layered haircuts is they tend to go from something which is sort of shorter at the front and then gradually getting longer. And what that does, it gives a certain type of definition of shape.
Okay.
With the Connexion cut, what we do is we completely reverse this line around. And what we do is we end up going from slightly shorter at the crown, and then with the line coming this way. So instead of it going that way, which is traditional, it'll come this way. Now, we have a technique which we use at the back of the crown, which gives the name the Connexion haircut. And as we move through the haircut, I'll be able to explain that and show that to you. But the really nice thing is it's still a very commercial haircut. It's very, very client-friendly, but it's just a little bit quirky, it's different. And you'll see from the end result that it really does give the client something which is slightly different. And that's what we're aiming to do. So I'm really pleased to be able to show this today. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to seeing this.
The first section of this haircut is probably the most definitive hair section.
Okay.
So it's called a radial dissection. And basically the way to look at this is if you imagine that the hair was in a box.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got the top of the box, and we've got the side there. The line that comes through the middle, which dissects that at the corner, is probably where the radial dissection needs to go through. So I'm basically going to take my line from just fractionally in front of the apex of the ear, and follow the radial dissection around, so it comes behind the crown and then back around to this side. Okay. This is where our apex is, and we're going to take the section through here, like so. So I've got my thumb here already waiting to take the comb, which is at the apex of the ear this side.
So is this something that you've pretty much designed, this haircut?
All our signature haircuts, we design ourselves. And the reason that we sort of work at it is we say, right, you know, obviously from a creative point of view, it's really nice to come up with things which are interesting, but from a client point of view, we're always looking for haircuts which are unique to our brand. And so what we want to do is come up with concepts that give our clients a style which is different. They can't get it in any other salon, so then they're driven to come back to us. So if you just tip your head back a little bit, so you can see this is where our radial dissection is. Now, as a safety, the length in the hair is going to be what you can feel here. So we grab the hair here, and if it's feeling nice and thick, then we know we've got the right amount of hair. If it's feeling a little bit thin, we might need to move the radial dissection higher. And that's a safety tip. And I want to just literally put it all into a ponytail, because we're not going to use this hair for a little while. So our first cut section is going to be a central profile. The centre point to the area on top of the nose, like so. So, like I say, normally what would happen with this sort of haircut is that the angle would be going like this. For us here, we're going to be going backwards. So to get our angle, we're going to over-direct coming back. We're not worried about here because we're going to be able to connect in using our connection technique afterwards.
Okay.
So angle's coming up nice and high. And the idea is that as we get towards the front, we're leaving as much length at the front as possible.
Okay.
So again, finding my line, trying to keep the length at the front. The principle of the haircut at the front is that it's a pivot haircut, but we need something to pivot to. So this section on its own would be too thin. So we're going to take a parallel section on each side to thicken that out. And then from there we're going to pivot, and I'll show you how we do that in just a second.
This is fascinating stuff, I like it.
Okay, so again, combing the hair in a parallel. Take this away nice and clean. And we then comb into the section that we've already taken out. We will see the guide quite clearly. So we over-direct and find our guideline.
Yeah, see that clearly.
So removing the hair from behind the crown and then just getting longer as we move towards the front. Just drop that down nice and clean. And again, just find the guide. So I've taken my first central profile, I've taken my first parallel section, and then if I move my model around to here, you can see it's beginning to build out.
Yep.
And I'm just going to take my next parallel section through here, like that. So another tip that is quite useful is that quite often you'll see people cutting hair and they'll be pulling the guideline towards them. Now, this is all right for setting up the haircut or setting up the actual cut shot, but basically the best way to do it is to actually comb the hair,
push it away
from the root, pushing it away, so the tension's actually on the hair that we're cutting. Okay. So we get a much more accurate line. So at this point, what we've done is we've taken a central profile. We've taken a parallel section on this side, taken a parallel section on the opposite side, so we've now got 3 sections across the top which are parallel. At this point, what we're going to do is to start to pivot. So to do this, and it's the unusual thing about this haircut is as we pivot both sides at the same time, okay? So I'm going to take let's put the head right forward from here. So I'm going to take a section from here, which pivots out, and then I'm going to mirror it exactly on the opposite side.
Okay.
Okay. So if I bring this forward. Okay, so we've taken our first pivot there, and now we're going to mirror it on this side.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm just going to come around.
Yep.
Take out enough hair that I can pull up into my guide. So pushing my hair up, and because we're leaving lots of length at the sides, it's really important to come up really high, over-directed back, just like we did before. So I might drop out the first bit because there's quite a lot of hair there. And so from here, so I can find my guideline. Everything's over-directed really high, really back, and cut that in like that. Just drop that down for a second. and then get the rest of the hair at the front. Again, over-directed. And hopefully what's happening as we get towards the front, there's less and less hair to take off, because what we're trying to do is to remove weight here, but keep it all nice and soft at the front.
Yeah.
If we're taking off too much hair here, then it's going to be too short. And the idea is it's still a long haircut.
Yeah.
And then exactly the same thing on the other side. So once you really sort of nail this technique, it actually becomes really easy. You just like do one side, then the other, one side, then the other. So at this point, what we need to do is to change our radial. So we're changing it from what is called a radial dissection into just a normal radial. So that'll go from the apex of the ear to the apex of the ear.
Okay.
If I'm taking my radial this way, obviously by now you know that I always comb the hair towards me. Okay, so it will come from the apex of the ear to the apex of the ear on this side. And now in the back section, through here, I've got my length and I've got my short section. So my thing now is I've got to be able to connect the two together. So I want a central profile coming down the back. And so we take out this section through here. Let's pull this hair out and see what we got here. So as we bring the hair out, we'll see that we've got our short section that we've cut, and we've got the long section we haven't got. Now what we need to be able to do is to connect this together. And the way that we do that is we use a slicing technique. Okay? So I take the hair and I'm pulling the hair downwards. So it's not something that I lift up high, pull it down. Now the thing when you're doing this is that the tension is behind the fingers, not in front of the fingers. Okay, so if I put my scissors here and I slide down, I've got much less control than if I put my scissors behind. If I can control the tension, I can control how much hair I remove. So now what's really important is I don't pick anything up below the occipital bone.
Right.
So if I get it wrong, and when you first do it, there's a good chance you might sort of not get it quite right, is that you can't cut it too short. So we call it a safety. So always leave a little bit of hair at the bottom.
Okay.
The tension's behind the fingers, and the scissors goes in, and then we slide down in as smooth a movement as we can do it. Obviously I'm trying to do it in slow motion, but so, and then the hair that we have should go from short to long. And if it follows that shape, you know that it's really good. If it was just like that, then you're probably going to end up with a step. Now once we've done this section, we don't use it as a guide. We don't try and guide or do anything with it. We just ignore it now and we go on to the next section. Okay.
Thank you so much, Sean. Beautiful, beautiful style.
Yeah,
beautiful,
so,
beautiful. Connection cut.
So get connected with the connection cut.
Get connected with the connection cut. Thank you so much, and thank you too.